Worthy ones, I'm gonna give you 5 signs that you're dealing with an extremely toxic person. What's up, Gene? This word to be great. 1, they don't support you. Have you ever had a family member or friend in your life? They never support anything you do. When you talk to them about it, they always have something negative to say. It's never anything positive. And you start thinking to yourself, are they saying this because they're trying to help me, or are they saying this because they're being negative? When I first came out with my first t-shirt design, I talked to one of my friends that I thought would be very, very supportive. He was saying to me, Gene, that's not going to work out. People are not going to buy that t-shirt. That'll be a waste of money. And I remember thinking to myself, is he saying this because he really wants me to succeed, or is he saying this because he's being extremely negative? So I stopped talking about that and I brought up another topic, and I talked about a totally different product, and it was the same thing. He was very negative, he said it won't work, and I realized at that moment he was a very toxic individual. If you have somebody in your life, they do not support you. They don't support your dreams, they don't support your goals, they're always very negative. That is your first sign you're dealing with a very toxic person. 2, they're persistently unhappy. You know, one thing I've learned over the years is that the older you get, the more you start thinking about your life. And if you're not making progress, if you stand in one spot, you're going to become a very unhappy person. When I was in this speech club, there was a lady in there. She was about 65 years old, and she was very, very toxic. I remember she came up to me, she introduced herself to me, and I told her what my dreams were. I told her I was speaking, I was an author and all these different things, and she always had something negative to say. She said, you're an author of a book? Wouldn't they bring negative attention to you? I mean, why would you do something like that? Why would you put so much of your business out there in the world with a book? I said, I want to write a book because I believe that my life story can help people. I believe the knowledge and the skills I've developed, if I teach them to others, it can help them find a better path in their life, especially those that grew up like me up in the hood. And no matter what I said, it was always pessimistic. And I realized this lady was very unhappy. As a matter of fact, she told me that she had the same dreams that I had, but she was too afraid to go after them. Those were her biggest regrets. And what I noticed is that the reason, because she was unhappy, she had a hard time being happy for me. And you may have somebody in your life right now, they're extremely unhappy. They're very pessimistic. They're always talking about all the bad things that are going on. They can't be happy for you because they're not happy for yourself. So if you have somebody in your life, you tell them your dreams, you tell them your goals, and they're always unhappy. They're always trying to bring you down. That is the second sign that you're dealing with a very, very toxic person. 3, they consistently disrespect you. Have you ever had somebody in your life and no matter what you try to do, they always got something disrespectful to say? They talk down to your goals, they talk down to your dreams to the point they frustrate you. And when you confront the person, tell them that you feel they disrespecting the things you want to do, instead of them listen, they continue to do so. I knew this guy one time. He was a neighbor of mine, and he was always talking to me about wanting to get his life on track. What I didn't know at the time is that he had got several felonies. He had got a lot of DWIs. So one day we was having a conversation. He asked me about my background. I said, yeah, you know, this is what I'm doing. This is where I got my education, all these different things. And the more he asked questions, the more I realized his face was turning red every time I gave him an answer. And then all of a sudden he said to me, he said, you know what? Just because you got a college education don't mean you better than me. As a matter of fact, most people that are educated are stupid. They're dumb. And you're probably dumb. And he was saying things like this. And I was like, where is this coming from? And I looked at that individual. I said, I don't know what your issue is. I never said I was better than you. But calling me dumb is very disrespectful. So could you please stop doing that? But over the time, he kept doing it. He kept on being disrespectful over and over again. And I realized that moment, that individual was very unhappy. He was very toxic. He did not like the direction of his life. So he could not respect me because he wasn't respecting himself. And if you have somebody in your life, they are persistently disrespectful to you. No matter how many times you set those boundaries, no matter how many times you tell them to stop, they continue to disrespect you because they don't respect themselves. And if that person's in your life, that is a strong sign you are dealing with a very toxic individual. 4, they have low self-worth. See, our self-worth is how much we value ourselves. And if somebody don't value themselves, they're not going to value you. I remember when I was growing up in the hood, and there was this guy, he was always talking negative towards me. See, one thing I noticed about him, he didn't value himself. He didn't see himself having a good future. One day he walked up to me and said, Gene, you always dribble that basketball. You shoot jump shots late at night. Do you really think you're going to play college basketball? If you do, you have lost your mind. You are too short. You're not fast enough. You're not skilled enough. And the more he talked to me, the more I realized this was an individual. He didn't have any value about himself. So therefore, he was trying to get me to devalue myself, to devalue my dreams, to devalue my goals. And instead of listening to that individual, I decided to value my dreams, and so they became a reality in my life. And if you have somebody in your life, they have low self-worth, you have to understand they will never value you. They will never value your dreams because they don't value themselves or their own dreams. So if you have somebody in your life, they're trying to devalue you, that is a sign you're dealing with a toxic individual. 5, they're extremely pessimistic. I remember one time I was talking to one of my friends and he was telling me all the things he wanted to do. He wanted to accomplish this goal, he wanted to accomplish this dream. But every time he ended the conversation, it was always that I can't make it happen because I don't have the talent. I can't make it happen because I don't have the resources. And what I noticed about this person, he wasn't giving himself a chance to live his dream because he was so pessimistic. And you may have somebody in your life right now. You have a dream and you're excited about it. You're trying to stay positive about it. But this pessimistic person is telling you all the reasons it can't happen. They tell you you're going to fail. And the reason they're doing that is because they are extremely pessimistic about their own life. So you cannot expect that person to be positive or optimistic about your life. And if you have somebody like this in your life, you are dealing with a very toxic person. And I want to encourage you to get away from these people if you can. This is yourself. I don't care if they're family members, close friends, whoever they are. Because if you don't, it's going to affect your mental health. Instead of you believing in yourself, believing in your possibilities, that toxicity will get in your mind. You will start to doubt yourself. You will start to doubt your dreams. You will stop believing in yourself and you will start taking the action necessary to make your dreams become reality. So I want to encourage you to go after your goals, go after your dreams, get away from toxic people because you are worthy to be great.